Every time I watch the news these days, I see the same old leaders trying to lead us into wars with propaganda that they feed us. As the unelected president of the United States of General Motors plans his next move aimed to help his business partners meet their quotas, and I watch the world just step aside, waiting for their piece of the American pie. Yeah, and as Blair kisses Bush's butt and calculates his cut, NBC does his best to stir your patriotic feelings up. And as the people we're protecting, they pile up in the soil, I tell you this, my friends, blood is thicker than yeah, well, people, they try to tell me the ends justify the means. Well, I guess these people haven't ever listened to the screams. And there's clearly many questions that I really can't ignore. Like, is it a just war? Or is it just a war? State of emergency, national security, fear of an enemy that you can't see, saving my liberty, that's what they're telling me. Make more space in the military cemetery. Troops in Afghanistan, wiping out the Taliban. They had other plans, moved to Pakistan, overseas enterprise, dollar signs in their eyes. Yesterday's allies are soon to be enemies. Well, we went on and they're looking for the WMD. Instead, we found a country that was practically empty, except for one commodity, of which they had plenty, enough to power Bush's fleet of cars for the next century.
The chance for you in the audience to write a bit of poetry, and you don't have to be up on there on stage like us idiots flogging ourselves out under these hot lights. You can write your own poetry while sitting from the comfort of your own chair. Basically it works like a game of consequences. There is a line of poetry on this piece of paper. Please write one line only underneath it, nice and neatly, so I can read it at the end of the evening when I've had a drink. And then fold a bit of paper over so that only your line is visible to the next person and pass it on to them. And we'll either produce a great work of art or a complete pile of absolute rubbish, and I shall read it out in a deep, beautiful poetic voice as if it actually is worth something. And then I'll pick out the best line, which wins the wonderful prize of, from Spar's Bargain Buckets, Easter eggs that didn't sell over Easter. That is just to show you that there's no fucking money in poetry, whatever level you're at. Okay. Right. Set his camera up all very nicely, and I'm already sort of moving the microphone stand out of the way, so you can't focus on that. And I'm already... Right, okay, yeah. Thank you all for coming along to this tonight, which is Demented Eloquence. And can you give it up for Demented Eloquence? Whoa, right. We have a show and a half for you tonight. In fact, we've got so much of a show which we're trying to fit it all in for you. So I shall not be going on too long tonight, so that you can hear all our wonderful poets and storytellers that we have here tonight for your delectation. Right, I'm Rapunzel Wizard, your host. I'm going to start you off with a few poems just to break the mood and lead you into the evening gently. And then, he says, looking at his wonderful list, we're going to have a little bit of Duffy, who's going to come up and give you a little bit of his poetry, just as an introduction. Then a bit of Ryan as well, a little bit of Robin, and then we'll have a first set from Andrew, which will be our first bit. So just to introduce everybody to you and all that. And then we'll have a bit of a break, and we'll be doing more from everybody later. Right, okay, so where shall we start? I think we should probably start with my second least favourite daytime telly personality. This is called Alan Titchmarsh. Oh, you're so perfectly green welly, you're so perfectly daytime telly, you're as anodyne as Valium, positively Alan-adine. And I find your easygoing mannerisms as reassuring as David Cameron's. You're as edgy as a circle, as uplifting as a whirlpool. You're a thoroughgoing pain in the arse, you're about as life-affirming as Dignitas. So I'd like to plant Alan Titchmarsh, tit deep in a marsh, head first. Right, there we go, that's enough about him. Okay, right. This next one is called Sorry Excuse, and it's dedicated to all of you who got really drunk at a party, done things you shouldn't have done, but then the next morning you could actually remember what they were and had to go round and apologise. This is called Sorry Excuse. I'm sorry how I behaved at your party. I viewed the quantity of booze as a challenge you must admit I rose to heartily, but I'm sorry I misbehaved at your party. And I didn't know that picture on your wall was your favourite dead grandfather. I thought my added-in marker pen, Hitler moustache, suited him. And I'm sorry the link between my brain and bladder failed me miserably, and it wasn't my fault this toilet was locked, and you have to admit your houseplants looked like they needed a good watering, though I appreciate your digibox didn't. And I'm sorry that the trampoline in next door's garden was too much of a tempting target, and I realised I weigh a bit more than the average 7-year-old, and I knew I should have stopped jumping when I heard the sound of metal shearing. Now, after I emerged from the trampoline wreckage, I'm sorry that the lingerie on the washing line in next door's garden was too much of a tempting target. And I'm sorry the link between my brain and mouth failed me miserably. And I said you had the emotional range of a Dalek, and your girlfriend looked like one. Now, on the first point, you proved me wrong when passionately and with feeling you wrestled away from me forcefully next door's crotchless knickers. The fact your party was a flat warming was no excuse for me to set fire to your kitchen. And it wasn't helpful when I suggested you just told the landlord the sink had spontaneously combusted. And I'm sorry the link between my stomach and mouth failed me miserably. And it wasn't my fault the toilet was still locked, but the wardrobe opened. And I wasn't to know I have to confess that that was your girlfriend's favourite dress. And talking of your girlfriend, I apologise for telling everyone she'd been an extra in Lord of the Rings as an Uruk-hai. And I'm sorry that didn't stop me shagging them noisily on your bed. I'm sure the stains will come out of the sheets. And I'm sorry that even though I fell asleep and was quite useless, she found the wine bottle and enjoyed herself so much that she had an orgasm that was so loud that the neighbours thought you were torturing sheep and called the RSPCA and police. So generally, I'm sorry, but, well, can I come round for your birthday? Yeah, can I come round for your birthday? Thank you. Cheers. Right, okay. I'm going to do this one next. This next one comes with a picture. I don't know if you can see that. Well, this one may be extremely libelous. I don't know. I'll be quite happy if Alan Titchmarsh sued me. But right, this one's got a picture. It's a car door, close up. And there is a tiny scratch there. Can you see that scratch there?
Yes.
Yes, can you just about see that? I can pass that around the audience if you want. Guess how much that cost to fix?
320.
Whoa.
Higher. £888. Alright, we hired this car from a certain company called Arnold Clark, so having to pay ridiculous amounts of money, poets fight back the only way they can, and that's by writing a poem. And it's got, you can join in with the Arnold Clarks if you like, and I'll get to them. You've got the option. To fix a scratch on the door is a great expense of £888.22. Yes, they'll charge you a fortune if you leave a mark, so don't hire a car from Arnold Clark. They say they'll call back, but don't for a lark. They say they'll fix it and then leave you in the dark, so don't hire a car from Arnold Clark. It grates Arnold Clark think it's great to model their customer service on Norman Bates. So don't hire a car from Arnold Clark. They don't know their way around the car for sure. Work on a rear bumper is required for that scratch on the door. They seem in league with the forces of dark, so don't hire a car from Arnold Clark. Chasing up Arnold Clark is as fun as what comes out of Jeremy Clarkson's bum. So don't hire a car from Arnold Clark. They spent £300 on silver pate. Is it made from solid sterling at that kind of rate? At your expense, their message is stark. So don't hire a car from Arnold Clark. I said don't hire a car from Arnold Clark. Thank you very much. Cheers. Right. Okay. I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to have Duffy, who's going to come up and give his little introductory set, and I don't know, maybe say a word about what Hello Poetry is up to and about. Right, so let's just do this one. This is called Current Crisis. I wrote this sort of last week when there was a current crisis? Or was it the week before? I don't know. But yes, when news and the tabloids went completely over the top. Cameron, on his podium, reassuring everyone that if you are passing in your car and somewhat are lacking in this commodity, sidle up and try to acquire it casually. It's all a government lie. Now is the time to panic buy. Hoarding is rewarding. Now queues wind round the block, so stockpile while there's the stock. The prices rise and never seem to drop. I've seen pensioners so angry that they're not too old to fight over the last remaining bits to be sold. Yes, the cost is going up to 60p. So now it's time to panic buy stamps. Thank you. Right. Okay. Now, are you ready to come up and give us a 3-minute blast? Okay, so can you give it up for our first performer, Duffy?
I'm only going to do one poem just now and then tell you what Hello Poetry is all about. Hello. It's such a simple little thing. One tiny word. To heck with those that say help as other people. Hello can be what you want it to mean. It's a hand out held. Welcome in. A stranger no more. Well, how have you been? A dashing chap. Delightful dish, that one thing that you really couldn't do without. Hello is old, is new alike. Breaker of ice, timid held question, wondrous deliverance from pain of an empty life. When someone says, hello, I see you on the worst day to exist. Hello is hope. Hello is poetry. So what Hello Poetry is all about is bringing poets together from all around this country. This first year and next year it's just going to be Scotland, but this year we're doing Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Stirling, we're supposed to be in Perth, Glasgow, Dumfries, and then back to Edinburgh for the finale on the 19th. It's all in a 6-week period. We're trying to get in as many poets as possible. And what we've found is that there are very few nights, like here in Aberdeen, Rapunzel's night, give it up for the man, please. It's the only one up here. It's the same in Stirling, and it's the same in a number of places. There's either no poetry happening, but there are poets there. So what we're trying to do is bring together poets from every level, as you were saying earlier, from up and high, like published, well-renowned poets like both Robin and Ryan here, and bedroom poets, get them out, get them actually reading their stuff for the first time in an audience, and taking people out of their own places to a new place, because a lot of poetry is about place. Like your voice comes from where you are mostly, or where you love to live, and so it's getting people a chance to achieve that. And to that end, we're setting up as a charity which will go on and fund these exchanges and hopefully fund collaborations between poets that occur from this whole scene. So that's what we're about. Thank you for your time. Thank you all.
Well, that's Duffy. You'll hear more from him later.